In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with our glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free, while God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory. All right. Hello. How are you guys doing this afternoon? It is a great day to be alive in this country because, man, big things are happening. I mean, they are happening. Holy moly. You know, I finally got my internet back on first thing this morning. I thought I'll go live and I'll talk about all the China stuff. I'll talk about the governor of Georgia posing with the Chinese spy that was arrested when they closed the consulate in Texas, or the Chinese guy that was on Tucker giving his little speech talking about how, you know, they rate the governors of the several states, and some are good for them and some are bad for them. Where are you at? You know, talking about how important Georgia is to them. But alas, that's not made it to the first page. Boy, I tell you what, today's been wow kind of day, you know. My phone's blowing up, people sending me messages, and just crazy. So what's going on? What's happening? So Justice Alito was like, give me the information. I need you guys to answer for what's going on here. And, you know, right at the election time, Alito requested that Pennsylvania segregate any ballots that came in after 8 p.m. because the rules were 8 p.m. And then they arbitrarily changed the rules, the Secretary of State. And we have this little thing in the Constitution, this little thing right here. It says each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislator thereof may direct the number of electors equal to the whole number of the senators, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that's in the Constitution. That's what it says. And so they were like, look, you can't change the rules, but I want you to set these aside. We're going to probably have to deal with this later. And they didn't. They didn't set them aside. So I thought, holy moly, the Supreme Court's not going to be happy about that. So everything was coming up fast. They moved up the date to today. And I read what Alito had said to them, and you got to give us stuff. And then I read their answer was, Their answer was literally, well, it's never been done before. Supreme Court justice can't intervene. It's not been done before. This would be a travesty to democracy. Whenever you hear a politician talking about the democracy, understand they're lying, because we're not a democracy. We're a representative republic. We are a nation of rules, not men. Follow the rules. So you see, the thing is, the legislator didn't make these decisions. And Mark Levin talked about on his show the other night that constitutionally in Pennsylvania, the state constitution in Pennsylvania, somebody stop sending me messages. I said, stop. So constitutionally in the state, in Pennsylvania, in order to change election laws, they have to amend the Constitution, the state level Constitution. It's written in the rules. What the rule says, and I got this from Mark Levin, what the rule said is that it has to be at a majority vote in the House, the Senate, and the governor needs to sign a bill to change the election law. And Then it has to be a period of waiting. Then they have to do it again. Then there has to be a period of waiting, in which in that period of waiting, they have to put it into all the newspapers in the state. They have to put it out so people can read it. And then it has to go on the ballot so the people can vote for it as a constitutional amendment. In October 2019, the legislator, with the lead of the governor, changed the election laws to allow mail-in ballots. I'm not talking about to allow absentee ballots. That's a whole different set of ballots. So you have to go apply for an absentee ballot. You have to identify yourself. You have to say, I want one. No, they wanted to change it. They just mail ballots out to 2.8 million ballots out to wherever. They did that in 2019. They didn't do it because of COVID. They did it because of October 2019. COVID is just their excuse now. But they did it way back then. But they didn't go through the process of amending the Constitution of the state of Pennsylvania. There's a problem there. They didn't follow their own rules. So that's basically what this lawsuit that went to Pennsylvania that Alito was talking about. He's saying, look, you didn't do it right, and I want to see what this is all about. So I'm like, so that's happening, right? And then we have Texas happening. Oh, wow. That's a big deal. So then all of a sudden, they said the Texas lawsuit's on the docket. I was like, whoa, that's cool. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. And then all of a sudden they denied the Pennsylvania one with no comment. And the media is exploding. Nanner, 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 you're going to lose. Trump's an idiot. So are you. That's what they're saying. All over Twitter, all over Facebook, all over. It's all over. It's done. Pennsylvania's over. You lose. You're a loser. Except that's not the way this works. You see, I firmly believe what happened was the Texas case duplicates the Pennsylvania case. They took the Texas case and said, we don't need this one now because we got that one. And not only does that one do it in Pennsylvania, but it does it in Michigan, it does it in Wisconsin, it does it in Georgia. Follow me here. So I got a couple videos I want to play you real quick. I just want to play a couple things so you could get, I was quoting and talking about how I got this from Mark Levin can explain it better than I can. So I got a couple videos, and today I happen to have my daughter helping me. So I told you I usually have my wife, but today I have my daughter. So this is her first day as a producer. Good for her. So I'm just going to go ahead, Cora, and play that first video.
The Electoral College is a federal creation. The entire Electoral College process, the integrity of the states. And so if you have a state that sends electors to the Electoral College, that is, the governor signs what's called a...
All right. I messed up. Let me try this again. Can you rewind that to the beginning, Cormay? I'm going to try this again so you can catch the beginning because I didn't push the right buttons. It's my fault, not Cora's fault. Cora did it right. I did it wrong. Okay, hit play.
The Electoral College is a federal creation. The entire Electoral College process depends on the integrity of the states. And so if you have a state that sends electors to the Electoral College, that is, the governor signs what's called a certificate of ascertainment. It goes to the archivist of the United States. He collects all the Electoral College votes, sends it to the joint session of the new Congress that meets on January 6th by statute. They have all these electors, and wait, there's Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania's electors are tainted because they're presented to the United States Congress, which will then select the president and vice president of the United States after they count them. They're presented to the United States Congress. But it could be argued they're illegitimate because the state legislature didn't follow the state's own constitution. The Electoral College.
All right. So what he's saying is, this is why Article 2, Chapter 1, Paragraph 2, or Clause 2, is so important. Is the Electoral College is not a state thing. It is a federal thing. It's set up by the federal government. And that because they messed this up so bad, because they created law out of thin air, because they changed the rules of the game, their electors are tainted. This pertains to the Texas lawsuit. We'll get to that in a minute. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So, Cordy, if you've got the other one, you got it ready to go? All right. So this again is Mark Levin.
The job of the United States Supreme Court is to address the federal issue. And what the court should do, if Mark were a justice, is the following. It should take the case up because there's clearly a federal issue. It's going to wind up in the Congress. It should rule that what the state of Pennsylvania did violates the federal Constitution on a number of grounds and is in fact unconstitutional. So what's the remedy? The Supreme Court doesn't have to fashion a remedy. It can leave it to the political bodies, as Article 2 leaves it to the state legislature, or in the end, can leave it to Congress. But Congress needs to know that those electors it received in violation of not only the Pennsylvania state constitution, but that those electors are tainted under the federal constitution because of what the state did under the state constitution. The job of the United...
All right. So what he's saying, exactly what I was saying there. It is the job of the legislature to set the electors of the Electoral College and determine how the rules are, as far how they do that. So what we have this case that went before Pennsylvania, or went before the Supreme Court, and they rejected it out of hand. Of course, the media right now is all excited about it. I mean, they're just fired up about it. But here's an article on it right here. Let's see. Oh, the case in Texas that goes directly to the Supreme Court. Now, why is this important? Why is the case in Texas so important? What? Here's the deal. I read it. It's very interesting to me. I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV. Okay, you might seek out another attorney's opinion because I'm not one. But I can read. And I did kind of scroll around and find some people like Mark Levin and a couple of people's ideas on what's happening here. So Texas is suing Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And they're suing them on the grounds that they changed their electoral laws by not using the proper procedure. Thereby, they are creating a disenfranchisement of states like Texas who did it right. Okay. Furthermore, in Bush versus Gore 2000, the Supreme Court ruled in that case. And what it ruled was the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. Everybody has to follow the same rules. The rules are that your legislator creates the rules for an election. Those are the rules. So if the legislator in the state of Texas, in the state of Pennsylvania decided, or Wisconsin or Georgia or Missouri or anywhere, they decided that the way that we're going to pick our electors is we're going to go out and we're going to throw pieces of paper up in the air, and whichever bucket those papers land in, that's who our electors are going to go to. If they decided that, that's the way it would be. Not a problem. And if they have a process that says 2/3 majority, if they have a process like Pennsylvania says it has to be a state constitutional amendment, then that's the way it has to be. But you can't have governors and secretaries of states and even Supreme Courts, state-level Supreme Courts of these several states making decisions on their own. They cannot do that. They do not have constitutional justification for that. They have no say-so in this. The governors right now in these states, all these governors are saying, I can't call a special session because the decision has already been made and we've certified it. So no special session for you. But that's what makes this Texas one so interesting, you see, because The Constitution, let's read it again. Let's look right here. This is the most important part. Each state shall appoint in such a manner as the legislator thereof may direct. It does not say the secretaries of state. It does not say any bureaucrats. It does not say any courts. It does not say the governors. They have no say-so in this. It's as the legislators may direct. So here's what the Texas people are asking the Supreme Court to do. They're asking them to enforce the Constitution. What they're saying is, look, because they did this wrong, there's a couple things going on. Because they did this wrong, it's not fair to us who did it right. Equal protection. Okay? Because they did this wrong, it's disenfranchising us who did it right. It's null and voiding us who wanted it to go a certain way. They're basically robbing our vote. The other thing that they point out in this lawsuit is that each in the state, in counties such as around Detroit, they were allowed to remedy ballots that were messed up. So if you had a ballot that wasn't signed properly or wasn't dated properly or something like that, they were allowed to fix those ballots so that they would be correct. But in other states that were maybe more red, the rules, the actual written rules said you can't do that. So they didn't do that. So there was ballots in those. So voters in those counties, votes didn't count where voters in the same circumstances in the other district and counties counted. That is disenfranchisement. That is an equal protection argument. That's also the argument they're making in the Texas one. That's the argument they were making in the one that SCOTUS just rejected. The reason they rejected it is because they're going to fold these in together. Because if they give a positive remedy for Donald Trump in the Texas one, it will create the remedy needed in the Pennsylvania one. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. So the other thing, see, there was another there was another important argument that's being made in this suit. And that is that Mark Zuckerberg gave $350 million, but only to certain districts. That created another unequal problem. You see, why is it that Detroit and Atlanta and Philadelphia got this $350 million, but say, why didn't Sedalia, Missouri get any of that money? Or why didn't Dallas, Texas get any of that money? You see, it's not fair. It's not fair that voters only in Philadelphia got that money, but not in the outlying areas. It made a disadvantage to people who didn't get the money. You follow what I'm saying? That's another equal protection. See, this is a federal problem. And that's what the Texas suit is bringing up. So let's say that the Supreme Court justices agree, 5-4 decision, that the Texas lawsuit is correct. What does it do? Does it throw everything out? No, not at all. Does it change anything? Not exactly. What this will do is this will throw it back to the legislator. So follow me here. I'm governor of Georgia, and we're not having a special session. And I'm the Secretary of State, and we're not recounting. That's what they're doing right now. But if the Supreme Court rules in favor of Texas, this will take it away from those governors and give it to the legislators and say, legislators, do your job. You want to give this to Biden? Give it to Biden. But you have to make the decision. And as I said in some of my prior videos, our founding fathers, by creating this clause in the Constitution, were geniuses. Because in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct, means that, you see those state legislators? How many of you, by show of hands, know of your state legislator, know your state legislator, know about where he lives maybe? I know who ours is. Think about this for a second. They're the closest to the pitchforks. They're the closest to the torches. You see, we all know who those people are. We shop with them at Walmart. We see them at events around. We talk to them. We shake their hands. Some of us may even be friends with them on Facebook or have their phone numbers, personal phone numbers. You see, they knew that the state legislators were the closest to the people and therefore the most accountable. I'll get that dirty son of a... I don't mean violently. I mean in the next ballot. You see where I'm going with this? So what's going to happen? I believe firmly that the Supreme Court's going to look at this case and they're going to take it on the merits and they're going to rule that it goes straight back to the legislators. Then the legislators, like in Arizona, like in Philadelphia, like in Georgia, that want to have the hearing, but we can't do it because of some kind of procedure, is going to go right back to them. And the governors and the naysayers aren't going to have any decision in this. Now we have a serious issue, because if 3 states decide to either remove their delegates or switch their delegates, this thing's in a whole heck of a mess. It goes to, who knows where it goes from there. But this whole thing gets blown up. Boom. It's all done. And then there's this. Daniel McCarthy announces that Arizona legislators invoked Article 2, Section 1, that one I just showed you. Arizona is officially a contested election. You can say goodbye to those delegates. 1 or 2 more states do the same thing, and neither candidate has 270, in which case it goes to Article 12 or Amendment 12. It goes to the states, or goes to the House, and is decided by delegates. So, for example, Missouri is a majority Republican delegation into the House. I guess like 14 of them. They'll vote for Trump. California has like 43, and it's majority Democrat. It'll vote for Biden. The problem is that there's at least a firm, solid 26 that are Republican. Game over. Next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. This is a long way from finished. There's a whole way, all kinds of things that can happen. And I firmly believe, before I get into that, I got one more video. So I just want to back up a little bit. I just want to tell you something. So I've been getting a lot of flack from people, especially right after they dumped this. You know, you've lost 39 cases in court and you've lost every single one. You're nothing but a loser. Oh my goodness. I can't believe all you Trumpsters. Oh my goodness. Oh, look, maybe he won't pull this off, but I'm showing you what the law says. People a lot smarter than me is where I got this information from. But you know, several years ago now, for about 7 or 8 years, I ran a little dirt track street stock race car just for the fun of it. It was one of the funnest things I've ever done in my life, out here at the local fairgrounds. You know, turn left, go fast, sling mud. You know, I wasn't the greatest in the world, but I had a good time. But one thing I learned in racing is it doesn't matter on the first lap or the 10th lap or the 20th lap where you place. As you come around that flagpole, on the next to last lap, as you come around that flagpole, it doesn't matter where you are. Only thing matters is where you are on that last turn. And I got this video that I want you to play. I want to play for you to make my point. So just go ahead and let's see here. Got to remember what button. Go ahead and bring that up.
First-time winner, Skinner trying to hang on. Earnhardt Jr. is a 2-time winner this year. Now they are 5 wide with 3 laps to go at Talladega.
No, there ain't 3 laps of green flag. There ain't no way they can run 3 laps like this.
Hold your breath, folks. Less than 3 laps to go. Who's going to win it? 47 lead changes, 21 different drivers. Mark Martin trying to plow his way through a minefield of race cars at 190 miles an hour. And here comes Earnhardt.
How did he get through all these cars? I don't understand how he did that.
The Intimidator is scraped and beaten on the right side, but he will not be denied. Mr. Restrictor Plate knows there are 2 laps to go. Earnhardt climbs to the high side of Bobby Labonte. Wow. You see him motioning. He's motioning the 55 car of Kenny Wallace to give me a bump. Come on, Kenny, give me a shove.
And Earnhardt is going for the lead.
And listen to this crowd of 170,000 strong.
Richard Childress, both his cars running 1-2 as he comes for the white flag.
White. Oh, Earnhardt loose. Dale Jr. down on the inside, but he gathers it back in.
He's on the apron of the racetrack, Ned.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. He saves the race car up almost against Bobby the Body. Dale Earnhardt Sr. has come from 17th spot in 4 laps to lead it on the final lap.
But Kenny Wallace is in second spot, followed by
His teammate,
Joe Nemechek.
Nemechek was the pole sitter, and Kenny Wallace has likewise never won a Winston Cup race. 3 Chevrolets on the final lap at Talladega. $2.7 million and $1 million bonus for Dale Earnhardt if he can hang on. The No Ball 5 contender, Mr. Restrictor Plate, Dale Earnhardt comes down and will take his 10th career victory at Talladega in the Winston 500.
There you have it. Oh, they're showing you the wreck there. Oh. 17 places back with 4 laps to go. He doesn't lead this race until the last lap. And that's the only one that matters, is the last lap. It makes no difference. All this maneuvering, all this playing around, all these court cases make no difference. None. It's the last one that makes a difference. You see, George W. Bush lost every single court case down there in Florida. Every one of them. Lost them all. Except for the last one. The one that made him president. So hang in there. This is nowhere near over, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I was about to say this before I played that video. All these court hearings, this Texas one, the Arizona, all the stuff happening in Georgia, all the stuff coming out about China and their influence in our government. That's some crazy stuff. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow, unless something big happens, because I don't know. It ain't it. I've said this over and over again. I still believe it to my core. All the preachers and prophets who have prophesied it, they're all saying, nope, 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 it's coming. It's coming. God said he's going to do something. He's going to do a miracle. He's going to change it in a way that people will talk about for the next 1,000 years. Something big is coming, and it's coming soon. A Christmas present. God is going to reward this man for what he's done for Israel, for what he's done for peace, for what he's done for America, for what he's standing on. Be prepared, because we ain't there yet. There is something about to happen. I mean, we're up against it. That's Missouri talk for some of y'all don't know. It means against it. We're there. And God's about to explode on the scene in a manner that he's only done a few times in history. When Pharaoh's armies were flooded out, when Cyrus walks into Babylon without firing a shot, without swinging a sword. And Daniel walks down and hands him the scroll where it was predicted by Isaiah 400 years before. When the walls of Jericho came crashing down after the Israelites walked around and walked around and walked, you imagine? I bet they were laughing at the Israelites just like they're laughing at the Trumpsters. These guys are idiots. They think they can get through that. Just walk around. They come out here every day and they just kind of walk around. What's going on with these guys are nuts. These guys are crazy. So the 7th day, when they walked around a few more times, then they blew on the trumpets, then the walls fell down, then they stormed in and killed everybody. I'm just saying, God's about to do something. If you don't believe it, I don't care. Because I believe it. And I know a bunch of you believe it. I know a bunch of you feeling it down in your gut. Something big's a coming. It's about to change everything. I mean, and it's going to be evident that it's God moving in this world one more time. You guys had... I heard a preacher say the other day, and it really kind of stuck with me. He said, when God does what he's about to do, is going to make you laugh out loud. I'm ready to laugh out loud. How about you? So with that, I'm going to jump off here. You guys have a great evening. It's going to get crazier. I bet you by tonight, everything I just said is going to be irrelevant because something's going to change. But I'll talk about it tomorrow. It's just nuts, everything that's happening. Just absolutely nuts. So with that, have faith. Hang in there. There's a plan. It's going to work out. We're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And even if we don't, God's still in control. So you guys have a great day. I will catch you all later. I'll see you probably be on in the morning. So you guys have a great day. Glad you all jumped on and joined me. Share this with your friends. They might want to hear it too. Talk to y'all later.